The detective's fist crashes into the table inches from my pregnant belly. I scream. He shoves the photos closer. A woman's face carved open, eyes frozen in terror, my silver necklace tangled in her bloody fingers. Her throat is split, ear to ear, bone exposed through shredded flesh. "You did this," he hisses, spit hitting my face. My water breaks. Not water, blood. Red spreads across the interrogation chair, pooling at my feet. My baby? Oh God, my baby. I'm shackled. I can't move. I can't breathe. The room spins. And somewhere in Chicago, my husband just found out they touched me. No one survives what comes next. 72 hours ago, I felt my daughter kick for the first time. Now Detective Morrison slams my head against the metal table, and I taste copper, blood filling my mouth, dripping down my chin onto my swollen belly. 5 months pregnant. Handcuffed so tight my wrists bleed. He circles me like a starving animal. Your fingerprints on the knife that opened her throat. Your car caught on camera. Your DNA under her nails, where she clawed at you, begging for her life. He throws surveillance footage at me. Grainy, dark, but unmistakably my silver. Honda parked outside the victim's building at 2 a.m. Thursday night. But I was home. Asleep. I swear to God I was asleep. The victim's autopsy photos scatter across the table, 37 stab wounds. Defensive cuts slicing her palms to ribbons, her face unrecognizable. Someone butchered her. Someone wearing my clothes, driving my car, using my jewelry. Someone who wanted me here. In this room, bleeding. Morrison leans close, breath hot and rancid. "You're done." He doesn't know my husband's name. Doesn't know Severin Valdice controls every shipment, every deal, every body that disappears in Cook County. Doesn't know that right now. 32 detectives, 4 judges, and the chief of police have 12 hours to live, unless they tell him who framed me. The lights flicker. My phone, confiscated on the evidence table, vibrates once. A text from an unknown number. "They made a mistake touching you. I'm coming." Morrison sees it. His face goes white. If you're ready to hear the entire story, every twist, every heart-stopping moment, every secret revealed, hit that subscribe button right now. And here's the thing. Drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from, because tomorrow, I'm bringing you another story that's just as wild, just as unbelievable as this one. Trust me, you do not want to miss what happens next. I wake to blinding white light burning through my eyelids. The bedroom door explodes inward, wood splintering, hinges shrieking. Men in black tactical gear flood our room like shadows with rifles. Red laser dots dance across my swollen belly. 5 months pregnant, vulnerable, exposed. Hands where I can see them. A voice roars. "Now?" I throw my hands up, heart hammering against my ribs. My nightgown is twisted around my thighs, barely covering me. The baby kicks, hard, frantic, like she feels my terror through my blood. "Severin?" I scream his name into the darkness beyond the flashlights. "Severin!" But his side of the bed is empty. Cold sheets. He left hours ago. Business. Always business he won't explain. A gloved hand yanks me upright by my hair. Pain explodes across my scalp. I stumble forward, my pregnant belly throwing off my balance. Another officer grabs my wrist, twisting my arm behind my back. Metal bites into my skin, handcuffs too tight, cutting off circulation. "Erwin Thorne Valdice, you're under arrest for first-degree murder." The words don't make sense. Murder. Me. The room spins. "There's been a mistake," I gasp, my voice breaking. "I'm pregnant. Please, you're hurting me. Move." The detective behind me shoves me forward. I trip on the top stair, my knees buckling. I'm falling, my hands are cuffed, I can't catch myself, my belly. Someone catches me. Barely. Rough hands on my shoulders, yanking me upright. But the damage is done. My stomach scraped against the stair edge, and now there's a burning sensation spreading across my lower abdomen. They drag me down the rest of the stairs. My bare feet catch on carpet, then cold marble in the foyer. I see our wedding photo on the wall. Severin in a black suit, me in white lace. Both of us smiling like we'd found something permanent in this broken world. Where is he? A man appears in front of me. Mid-40s, graying temples, dead eyes. Detective Morrison, according to the badge clipped to his belt. Where's your husband? I don't know, I whisper. Truth. Severin never tells me where he goes. I learned years ago not to ask. Morrison's smile is cruel. Convenient. He nods to the officers. They haul me outside into November cold. It's 3:47 a.m. according to our neighbor's porch clock. The entire street is lit up. Squad cars, lights flashing red and blue, neighbors in bathrobes watching from their doorways. Humiliation burns through me hotter than fear. The concrete driveway tears at my feet. I'm barefoot, half-dressed, pregnant, handcuffed like an animal. They throw me into the back of a squad car. My head hits the doorframe. Stars burst behind my eyes. Careful, Morrison says without emotion. Wouldn't want to damage the evidence. Evidence. Like I'm not human. Like my baby doesn't matter. The car door slams. I'm alone in the back seat, hands cuffed behind me, unable to touch my belly where the baby is kicking frantically. I lean forward, curling around her as much as I can. It's okay, I whisper to my daughter. It's okay, Mommy's here. But it's not okay. Nothing about this is okay. Morrison climbs into the front seat. He tosses a manila folder onto the dashboard, pulls out crime scene photos, and turns in his seat to show me. The woman's face is carved open. Her left cheek is split from ear to mouth, exposing teeth and bone. Her throat, God, her throat, is opened in a wide, gaping wound deep enough that I can see the pale curve of her spine through shredded muscle. Blood everywhere. Her eyes are frozen wide in terror, in pain, in disbelief that this was how she died. And in her right hand, tangled in her stiff, bloody fingers, my necklace. The silver pendant Severin gave me on our first anniversary. A crescent moon with a tiny diamond star. I wore it yesterday. I wore it to bed. How is it in a dead woman's hand? Recognize her? Morrison asks. I can't speak. My throat has closed. The baby kicks again, harder this time, and suddenly there's wetness between my legs. Warm. Too warm. I look down. Blood. Not much. Just a trickle, but enough. I'm bleeding, I gasp. Something's wrong with my baby. Answer the question. Morrison shoves another photo at me. Close-up of the necklace. Is this yours? Yes, but I've never seen her before, I swear. You swear. Morrison's laugh is sharp, humorless. Elena Rossetti, 28 years old, stabbed 37 times in her apartment on West Adams Street Thursday night. Your necklace in her hand, your car on surveillance camera parked outside her building at 1:47 a.m. Thursday night. I was home, asleep. Severin didn't come to bed until almost 3. I remember because I woke up when he slipped under the covers, his skin cold from being outside. I didn't kill anyone, I say, but my voice sounds weak even to me. I was home, alone. My husband, your husband. Morrison leans closer, close enough that I smell stale coffee and cigarettes on his breath. Severin Valdez. Real piece of work, your husband. You know what he is, don't you? What he does? I stay silent. Whatever Severin does, whatever empire he's built in the shadows of Chicago, it has nothing to do with this. With a dead woman named Elena Rossetti. He's made a lot of enemies, Morrison continues. Dangerous people. People who might want to hurt him by hurting you. Did you think of that? Or did you just think you could get away with murder because you're pregnant and married to a monster? The word hits me like a slap. Monster. You don't know him, I whisper. I know 23 bodies have washed up in the Chicago River in the past 3 years with the same signature. Single gunshot to the back of the head, hands bound. With construction wire. I know your husband owns Valdez Construction. I know he controls half the South Side and every shipping route from here to Naperville. My stomach turns. Construction wire. I've seen spools of it in Severin's warehouse. I've driven past his construction sites dozens of times. Morrison pulls out his phone, plays surveillance footage. Grainy, dark, but unmistakable. My silver Honda Accord pulling into a parking lot, a woman getting out. She's wearing my black coat, my boots. From this angle, in the dark, she could be me. That's not me, I say desperately. Someone stole my car, my clothes. Your fingerprints were on the knife. The world stops. That's impossible. Your DNA under her fingernails where she fought back. Your blood on her apartment floor. Morrison's eyes are flat, merciless. You're done, Mrs. Valdez. You're going away for life. And your baby? He glances at my belly with something like satisfaction. She'll be born in prison, taken away at birth. You'll never hold her. Something inside me shatters. I double over as much as the handcuffs allow, retching. Nothing comes up but bile and blood. Red splatters across my nightgown, dripping onto the squad car floor. The baby's gone still. Too still. Please, I sob. Please, my baby. Morrison starts the engine. You should have thought about that before you killed Elena Rossetti. As we pull away from my house, from the life I built with Severin, from everything I thought was safe, I see crime scene tape already going up across our front door. Officers moving through our home with gloved hands and evidence bags. And somewhere in Chicago, Severin's phone is ringing. When he sees what they've done, when he finds out they've taken me, God help them all. The interrogation room is freezing. They've had me here for 6 hours, maybe 7. I've lost track of time under the fluorescent lights that buzz and flicker overhead like dying insects. My wrists are raw and bleeding from the handcuffs. They won't take them off. Morrison sits across from me, a fresh cup of coffee steaming in his hand. He doesn't offer me any, doesn't offer me water, doesn't let me use the bathroom, even though I'm pregnant and my bladder feels like it's going to explode. Let's go through it again, he says, sliding another crime scene photo across the metal table. This one shows Elena Rossetti's bedroom. Blood spray patterns on the walls, overturned furniture, signs of a struggle. Thursday night, November 28th. Where were you between midnight and 3 a.m.? I already told you, I was home. Sleeping, alone. My husband came home around 3. Convenient? Morrison pulls out a recording device, presses play. My voice fills the room, except it's not quite my voice. It's close, similar, but slightly deeper, rougher. Please, don't do this. I have money. Whatever you want. Elena Rossetti's voice, begging. Then another voice. The one that sounds like me but isn't. You should have kept your mouth shut. A scream. Wet, gurgling sounds. Silence. My stomach heaves. That's not me. Voice analysis says 92% match. Morrison leans forward. Want to hear the rest? It gets graphic. She begged for 20 minutes before you finally finished her. I didn't do this. The words tear out of me. Desperate. Raw. Someone is framing me. Can't you see that? Someone who sounds like me, dresses like me, drives my car. Your car that was parked in your driveway all week, according to your neighbors. Your car that you reported safe and secure on your insurance renewal form 3 days ago. That car? I open my mouth. Close it. Someone had access to my car, to my clothes, to my necklace. Someone who knows my schedule, my routine, my life. Morrison pulls out a thick forensic report. Your fingerprints on the murder weapon, a kitchen knife with an 8-inch blade. Your DNA under the victim's fingernails. Your blood on her carpet from where she scratched you. He flips through pages. Medical examiner's report says Elena Rossetti died slowly. 37 stab wounds, but none immediately fatal. She bled out over the course of an hour. Conscious for most of it. I'm going to be sick. The defensive wounds on her hands. Morrison shows me close-ups of Elena's palms. Sliced to ribbons, fingers nearly severed where she tried to grab the blade. Indicate she fought hard. Desperately. She didn't want to die. But you just kept cutting. Stop, I whisper. Please, stop. Why'd you kill her, Era? Was it jealousy? Did you find out she was sleeping with your husband? What? No. Elena Rossetti worked as a paralegal for a law firm that handles real estate deals, including several properties owned by Valdez Construction. She met with your husband 6 times in the past 3 months. Morrison shows me surveillance photos. Severin and a young woman with dark hair sitting in a restaurant booth, heads close together. Looks pretty intimate to me. The woman in the photo is Elena Rossetti, alive, smiling, touching Severin's hand across the table. My heart cracks down the middle. Severin wouldn't. But even as I say it, doubt creeps in. How many nights has he come home late, smelling like perfume that isn't mine? How many times has he disappeared for days without explanation? I never asked, never pushed. I chose ignorance over the truth because the truth might destroy me. So you found out. You followed her. And you made her pay. Morrison's voice is almost gentle now. Sympathetic. Like he understands. Crime of passion. Any jury would see that. Pregnant wife? Cheating husband? We can work with that. Reduce the charge to second degree. Maybe manslaughter. You could be out in 15 years. 15 years. My daughter would be 15 years old before I held her. I didn't kill her, I say, but my voice breaks. I swear on my baby's life, I didn't do this. Morrison's expression hardens. Then explain the evidence. I can't. Someone set me up. Who? Who would go through this much trouble to frame you? I don't have an answer. The room spins. My vision blurs. The baby, I can't feel the baby moving. She's been too quiet for too long. I need a doctor, I gasp. Something's wrong. After you confess, I need a doctor now. I try to stand, but the handcuffs are attached to a metal loop bolted to the table. I'm trapped, bleeding, terrified. My baby. Morrison checks his watch. We've got 12 more hours before I have to charge you or let you go. Plenty of time. 12 hours. I'll die here. My baby will die here. The door opens. Another detective enters, younger, nervous-looking. He whispers something to Morrison. Morrison's face goes pale. You're sure? Morrison asks. The younger detective nods, glances at me with something that might be fear, and leaves quickly. Morrison turns back to me with a strange expression. Not triumph, not satisfaction, something closer to dread. What? I demand. What is it? He slides his phone across the table. A text message from an unknown number. You have her. I'm coming to get her. Everyone who touched her dies screaming. Starting with you, Morrison. My blood turns to ice. Severin. Morrison's hand shakes as he picks up his phone. You think your husband scares me? I've got the entire Chicago PD behind me. His phone rings. He answers. Listens. The color drains from his face. When? A pause. Both of them? Another pause. Jesus Christ. He hangs up. Looks at me like I'm something dangerous. Something that might explode. What happened? I whisper. 2 of my detectives just disappeared. Anderson and Cole. The ones who arrested you. Morrison's voice is shaking now. Their squad car was found abandoned on Lower Wacker Drive. Doors open, blood on the seats, no bodies. Severin's message plays in my head. Everyone who touched her dies screaming. He's going to kill all of you, I realize. Every single person involved in my arrest. Morrison leans across the table, grabs my throat. You call him off, right now, or I'll make sure you lose that baby. The lights go out. Complete darkness. Morrison's hand releases me. I hear him stumble backward, cursing, fumbling for his gun. Then a voice in the darkness. Cold. Calm. Deadly. You threaten my wife again, Morrison, and I'll feed you to your family piece by piece. Severin. I arrive home at 4:38 a.m. to yellow police tape stretched across my front door like a scar. The tape flutters in the November wind, mocking me. My house, the fortress I built to keep Ira safe, has been violated. I cut the engine. Sit in silence. My phone shows 63 missed calls from associates, from crew leaders, from men who know better than to call me unless it's an emergency. But there's nothing from Ira. Her phone goes straight to voicemail. Something's wrong. I step out of the car. The front door is splintered, hanging crooked on its hinges. Boot, Prints in the mud. Tire tracks from multiple vehicles. I count at least 7 different tread patterns. A raid. A significant one. Inside, my home looks like a war zone. Furniture overturned. Drawers emptied. Our wedding photo knocked off the wall, glass shattered across the marble floor. I follow the destruction upstairs to our bedroom. Blood on the carpet. Not much, just drops leading from the bed to the stairs. But it's enough. It's eras. My vision tunnels. The room tilts. I grip the doorframe to steady myself, knuckles white, breathing through the rage that threatens to consume me whole. They took her. They hurt her. She's pregnant, 5 months, vulnerable, carrying my daughter, and they put their hands on her. I pull out my phone. 1 call. That's all it takes. Dante, I say when he answers. Find out who authorized a raid on my house. Find out where they took my wife. You have 30 minutes. Boss. What? 30 minutes. Or I start with you. I hang up. Walk through my house, cataloging everything they touched. Aira's jewelry box emptied. Her laptop seized. The nursery we just started decorating. Pale yellow walls, a white crib still in its box, ransacked. They went through baby clothes, tore apart the closet looking for what? Weapons? Drugs? Evidence of crimes they can't prove? In the kitchen, I find Aira's phone on the counter. Dead battery. They didn't take it, which means they didn't need it. They already had everything they wanted. I plug it in, wait for it to power on, check her recent calls. Nothing unusual. Last text message was to her sister yesterday afternoon. Felt the baby kick today. She's strong like her father. Strong like her father. God, Aira. I'm not strong. I'm a monster who built an empire on violence and blood. And now that same darkness has swallowed you whole. Her voicemail has one saved message. I press play. Aira's voice fills the kitchen. Terrified, sobbing, barely coherent. Severin, they're saying I killed someone. They're showing me pictures of a dead woman, and they say I did it. But I swear I didn't. I swear on our baby. Her voice breaks into a scream. Male voices in the background shouting, the sound of impact. Aira crying out in pain. They're hurting me, Severin. The baby, I'm bleeding, something's wrong. Please, I need you, please. The message cuts off. I play it again. And again. Each time, her screams carve deeper into my chest until I can't breathe around the agony. They made her bleed. They threatened my daughter. My phone rings. Dante, 18th Precinct, he says without preamble. Detective Morrison is lead. They arrested her at 3:47 a.m. for first-degree murder. Victim is Elena Rossetti, paralegal, killed Thursday night. They're holding Aira in interrogation room 3. No lawyer present. No medical attention despite her condition. Elena Rossetti. The name triggers recognition. She handled real estate contracts for some of my legitimate properties. I met with her maybe half a dozen times. Always professional, always brief. Why would Aira kill her? She wouldn't. Aira doesn't have violence in her. She's the only clean thing in my filthy world. It's a frame job, I say. Who wants me exposed badly enough to destroy my wife? Working on it, boss, but Morrison, he's dirty. Been on Captain Harrow's payroll for years. If Harrow's involved... Harrow. Vincent Harrow. Southside Precinct captain who's been skimming from my shipments, thinking I wouldn't notice. I've been documenting everything, waiting for the right moment to move against him. Looks like he moved first. Find Detective Anderson and Detective Cole, I say, pulling on leather gloves. The ones who arrested Aira. Bring them to the warehouse. Alive. Already done. They're waiting for you. Of course they are. Dante knows how I operate. How I protect what's mine. I drive to the warehouse on South Halsted, one of my legitimate construction facilities. At this hour, it's empty except for my crew and 2 terrified detectives, zip-tied to metal chairs in the center of the concrete floor. Anderson sees me first. His face goes white. Mr. Valdez, we were just following orders. I walk past him to the tool wall. Select a cordless drill. Check the battery. fully charged. Please, Cole begs. We have families. So do I. I turn to face them, drill in hand. You put your hands on my pregnant wife, dragged her downstairs, made her bleed, traumatized her while she's carrying my child. Now you're going to tell me everything. Who gave the order, what evidence you planted, who's paying you, and if you lie even once, I'll start drilling through your kneecaps and work my way up. What follows isn't pretty. I'm methodical, precise. Years of practice have taught me exactly how much pain a man can endure before he breaks completely. Anderson lasts 14 minutes before he's sobbing, giving me everything. Cole takes 9. The story they tell makes my blood run cold. Captain Harrow orchestrated the entire frame job. He's been stealing from my operations for 3 years, over $4 million. Elena Rossetti was his informant inside the law firm, feeding him information about my property deals, so he could intercept shipments, skim profits, build his own empire using my infrastructure. But Elena got a conscience, started digging into other cases Harrow was involved in, discovered he'd been framing innocent people for murders committed by his crew, planting evidence, falsifying reports, destroying lives to protect his criminal network. She threatened to expose him. So he killed her. Personally, then framed Era to draw me out into the open where the entire 18th precinct, dirty cops loyal to Harrow, could take me down. He's got 60 officers ready to shoot you on sight, Anderson gasps through broken teeth. Says you'll come for your wife. Says when you do, they'll claim self-defense and bury you in the Chicago River. I press record on my phone. Say that again. All of it. Anderson repeats everything. Names, dates, locations of evidence, bank accounts where Harrow hides stolen money. Cole confirms it all, crying, begging for mercy. When they're finished, I look at Dante. Take them to the safe house. Keep them alive until I need them for testimony. You're not... Cole's voice rises in desperate hope. You're not going to kill us? I lean close enough to smell his fear sweat. That depends entirely on whether my wife and daughter survive what you've put them through. If Era loses that baby, because of the stress you caused, because of the violence you inflicted, I let the drill whir to life, the sound echoing through the warehouse. I'll make sure your families watch, while I take you apart piece by piece. I leave them sobbing with relief and terror. In my office, I review the recording. It's damning. Enough to destroy Harrow and everyone involved. But it won't help Era. Not yet. She's still in that interrogation room, bleeding, terrified, thinking I've abandoned her. I check the time, 9:23 a.m. She's been in custody for 5.5 hours. I need to move carefully. Harrow wants me to storm the precinct, guns blazing, giving him justification to kill me. So I'll do the opposite. I'll dismantle his operation from the shadows while I plan something he'll never see coming. But first, I send Morrison a message from an untraceable phone. You have her. I'm coming to get her. Everyone who touched her dies screaming. Starting with you, Morrison, let them panic. Let them realize they've made a fatal mistake. I pull up the precinct's security system. I own the company that installed it 3 years ago, which means I have full access. I watch Era on grainy black and white footage, handcuffed in that freezing interrogation room, pregnant belly pressed against the metal table, blood staining her nightgown. Morrison is threatening her, showing her photos, making her look at crime scene images of a woman brutally murdered. I watch my wife break down. Watch her beg for a doctor. Watch Morrison grab her throat. The screen in my hand cracks. I've gripped it so hard the glass has shattered, cutting my palm. Blood drips onto my desk. 12 hours. That's how long they can hold her before they have to charge or release. Harrow won't release her. He'll push for formal charges, get her transferred to county where she'll be vulnerable, where losing the baby becomes almost inevitable. Until tonight to stop this, to save her, to show Chicago what happens when someone threatens my family. I make another call. Dante, I need 20 men, armed, tactical gear, full assault loadout. Boss, you can't invade a police station. I'm not invading, I'm liberating. Get me building schematics for the 18th precinct. Guard rotation schedules, Locations of evidence rooms, holding cells, every entry and exit point. A pause. Then, how far are you willing to go? I look at the security footage again. Aira alone, bleeding, handcuffed, crying for help that isn't coming. As far as it takes. Chicago can burn. The whole department can burn. But I'm bringing my wife home. Should Severin storm the precinct to save Aira, or does he have a darker plan in mind? Comment below what you think happens next. Subscribe to see how far a mafia boss will go when the law comes for his family. They transfer me at 2 p.m., 14 hours after my arrest. I haven't slept, haven't eaten, haven't been allowed to use a bathroom. The bleeding between my legs has slowed to a trickle, but I can't feel my daughter moving anymore. She's been silent for hours. Maybe she's already gone. Maybe I've lost her. Maybe this nightmare has already stolen the only thing that matters. Morrison doesn't speak during the transport. Just shoves me into the back of an unmarked van with 2 female officers who refuse to make eye contact. They know. Everyone knows what's happening to me isn't justice. It's punishment for being married to the wrong man. Cook County Jail rises before us like a concrete tomb. 7 stories of gray walls and barred windows. I've driven past this building 100 times, never thinking I'd be inside. Never imagining myself stripped of humanity and processed like livestock. Intake is worse than the arrest, worse than the interrogation, worse than anything I could have imagined. They make me strip completely, stand naked under fluorescent lights, while a corrections officer with dead eyes circles me, searching for contraband. Her gloved hands touch me everywhere, roughly, carelessly, like I'm not 5 months pregnant, like I'm not bleeding, like I'm not human. Turn around, bend over, cough. I can't. I'm shaking too hard. Humiliation burns through me hotter than the shame, hotter than the fear. I said, bend over. Tears stream down my face as I comply. Behind me, someone laughs. One of the officers waiting to process the next inmate, laughing at my degradation. They give me an orange jumpsuit 2 sizes too small. The pants won't button over my belly. The shirt rides up, exposing my stomach. They don't care. They take my photo, tear-stained face, pregnant belly protruding from 2 small clothes, holding a placard. With my booking number, 847,293. Erwin Thorne Valdice is gone. Now I'm just a number. Cell block D. They walk me down a corridor of screaming women and slamming metal doors. The noise is overwhelming. Shouts, curses, threats, the constant clang of bars and buzzers. It smells like sweat and fear and something worse underneath. My cell is 6 feet by 8 feet. 2 metal bunks bolted to the wall. A toilet in the corner with no seat, no privacy, and 3 women already inside, watching me with predator eyes. Fresh meat, one of them drawls. She's maybe 25, covered in tattoos, missing 2 front teeth, and pregnant. How sweet! I back against the bars as the cell door locks behind me. 3 against 1. I'm trapped. What you in for? Asks another woman, older, harder, with scars tracking her arms. You kill your baby daddy? No, I whisper. I didn't do anything. They laugh. All 3 of them. Because everyone in here says they're innocent. Everyone in here has a story. Mine is just more unbelievable than most. Stay on the bottom bunk, Tattoo Girl says. Don't touch our stuff. Don't snitch. Don't cause problems. We might let you survive. I nod. Climb onto the bottom bunk. The mattress is thin, stained, smells like mold and body odor. I curl onto my side, hands pressed against my belly, begging my daughter to move. Just one kick, one flutter. Anything to tell me she's still alive. Nothing. Hours pass. I don't know how many. There's no clock, no windows, just fluorescent lights that never turn off. Meals come, gray slop on plastic trays that I can't force myself to eat. My cellmates devour my portions without asking. I don't fight them. What's the point? Night must have fallen outside because the noise level drops. Women sleeping or pretending to. I lie awake, staring at the bunk above me, listening to my own heartbeat and waiting for my baby to kick. She doesn't. Around 2 a.m., at least I think it's 2 a.m., shouting erupts from somewhere down the corridor. A fight. Guards rushing past with batons. The cell next to ours explodes into chaos. Women screaming, metal clanging, violence echoing off concrete walls. Then someone slams into our cell bars. Fight. Tattoo girl leaps off the top bunk, excited. Scarred woman joins her at the bars, both of them screaming encouragement at whoever's brawling outside. The third cellmate, quiet until now, a woman with cold eyes who hasn't spoken once, grabs my arm and yanks me off the bunk. "You're going to learn what happens to cop-loving bitches in here," she hisses. I don't understand. I haven't said anything about cops. But then I realize Morrison made sure everyone in here knows I'm married to Severin Valdez. Made sure they know the charges. Made sure this cell, these women, would make my life hell. She shoves me hard. I stumble backward, my pregnant belly hitting the edge of the metal table bolted to the wall. Pain explodes through my abdomen. Sharp, immediate, terrifying. "Stop!" I gasp. "Please, my baby." But she doesn't stop. None of them do. Tattoo girl joins in, pushing me against the bars. Scarred woman grabs my hair, slams my head against metal. Stars burst behind my eyes. The guards outside don't intervene. They're busy with the other fight. Or maybe they're watching. Maybe this is intentional. Maybe Morrison arranged this whole thing. I collapse to the floor, arms wrapped around my belly, trying to protect my daughter from the kicks that are coming. But they don't kick. They just laugh and walk away, leaving me bleeding on the cold concrete. This time, the blood doesn't stop. It spreads beneath me, warm and red and damning. Too much blood. Way too much for this to be okay. "Guard!" I scream. "I need medical. Please." No one comes. "Guard. I'm pregnant. Something's wrong." Still nothing. The other inmates pound on their bars, screaming for entertainment, for violence, for anything to break the monotony of captivity. My screams blend into the chaos. Just more noise in an ocean of noise. I don't know how long I lie there. Could be 20 minutes. Could be an hour. The pain in my abdomen intensifies. Cramping, tightening, something fundamentally wrong happening inside my body where my daughter should be safe. Finally, guards appear at my cell. They take one look at the blood and swear, "Get medical down here." They unlock the cell, drag me out by my arms. My legs won't work. I'm leaving a trail of blood down the corridor, past cells full of women who watch with curiosity and satisfaction. Entertainment for them. Tragedy for me. Prison medical is a nightmare. A converted storage room with a gurney, outdated equipment, and a doctor who looks like he'd rather be anywhere else. No ultrasound. No fetal monitor, just a stethoscope and apathy. He presses cold hands against my belly, feels around without gentleness. 24 weeks, he asks. 22, I gasp through the pain. Almost 23, he shakes his head. You're in early labor, probably stress-induced. The baby's too young to survive outside. Even if we get you to a hospital, chances are... No, the word rips out of me. No, save her. Please, do whatever it takes. She needs a proper hospital, says a voice from the doorway. A nurse, younger, with kind eyes that don't belong in this place. Transfer her to Northwestern. They have a NICU that can handle extreme premature births. She's a prisoner, the doctor says flatly. She'll need police escort, armed guard, shackles during delivery. I don't care. I'm sobbing now, past dignity, past pride. Just save my baby. The nurse steps closer, checks the guards aren't watching, and whispers, Your husband sent me. I'm going to make sure you get to the hospital. Just hold on a little longer. Hope surges through me. Painful, desperate hope. Severin knows. He's coming. The nurse slips something into my hand. A burner phone, small enough to conceal in my jumpsuit pocket. Call him, she whispers. But not here. Wait until you're in the transport vehicle. She moves away before the guards notice. The doctor finishes his examination, declares me stable enough for transport, and signs papers that will move me to Northwestern Memorial Hospital under armed guard. They chain me, wrists cuffed to a belly chain, ankles shackled together, like I could run, like I have anywhere to go. In the transport van, with 2 guards in front and bars separating us, I pull out the burner phone with shaking hands. I only know one number by heart, Severin's personal cell, the one only I'm supposed to use for emergencies. This qualifies. He answers on the first ring. Aira. His voice breaks me completely. I sob into the phone, ugly, desperate, terrified crying that I can't control. They're killing her. I choke out. They're killing our baby, and I can't stop them. Severin, I can't feel her anymore. Listen to me. His voice is steel, wrapped in velvet. Controlled fury. You're going to Northwestern. I have people there. I'm coming for you. Both of you. They're transferring me to county after. Morrison said, Morrison is a dead man. So is everyone else involved. I'm burning Chicago to the ground to get you back. Do you understand? No one touches you again. No one threatens our daughter again. There are guards everywhere, I whisper. Police. FBI, maybe. How? Let me worry about that. You just focus on keeping our little girl alive until I get there. Can you do that for me? I press my hand against my belly, willing my daughter to respond, to move, to fight. And finally, I feel it. The smallest flutter, barely there but alive. She's still here, I gasp. She's still fighting. Of course she is. She's mine. Severin's voice softens. She's ours. And Valdez women don't surrender. Tell her daddy's coming. Tell her I'll raise this city before I let anyone hurt her. The van jolts over a pothole. Pain shoots through my abdomen. Fresh blood soaks my jumpsuit. Hurry, I whisper. Please hurry. I'm already on my way. Chicago's going to learn what happens when they threaten my family. It's going to burn, Aira. All of it. The call ends. I slip the phone back into my pocket just before the guards check on me. Through the van windows, I see Chicago passing by, the city that was supposed to be my home, now transformed into a battlefield. Somewhere out there, Severin is gathering his forces, preparing for war, and I'm trapped in the middle, bleeding, terrified, praying my daughter survives long enough to meet her father. If anyone can save us, it's him. Even if salvation comes wrapped in violence and vengeance. The precinct security footage plays on 6 monitors in front of me. I've been watching for 3 hours, tracking every movement, every guard rotation, every weakness in their defenses. Dante stands beside me, tablet in hand, compiling the list of targets. Captain Vincent Harrow, I say, freezing the frame on a man in his 50s with silver hair and a captain's bars. 3 years ago, he approached me about partnership, wanted to facilitate my shipments through the South Side in exchange for 40%. I declined. Told him I don't partner with cops, dirty or otherwise. So he took it anyway, Dante finishes. Been skimming your operations ever since. $4.2 million over 36 months. I pull up the financial forensics my accountant compiled. Bank transfers, offshore accounts, property purchases under shell companies. He's been careful, moving small amounts, spreading it across multiple channels, but not careful enough. I switch monitors to Elena Rossetti's file. 28 years old, paralegal at Brennan and Cross Law Firm, graduated University of Illinois, Chicago in 2019. Pretty girl. Smart. Dead because she got between Harrow and his money. She handled 6 of our property acquisitions. I continue. Legitimate deals, all above board. Harrow had her feeding him information. Shipment schedules, warehouse locations, security protocols. She probably thought she was helping catch a criminal. Until she realized Harrow was the criminal. Dante pulls up phone records. She called Internal Affairs on November 18th. Spoke to an investigator for 47 minutes. 2 days later, she's dead. I click through the crime scene photos Morrison showed Aira. 37 stab wounds. Throat slashed. Defensive injuries. The overkill pattern of someone sending a message. This wasn't just murder. It was a warning to anyone else thinking about talking. Harrow killed her himself, I say, zooming in on a detail Morrison missed. The knife wounds show two distinct patterns. The initial attack was frenzied, emotional. But the throat slash was surgical, precise. He lost control at first, then finished the job professionally. He's done this before. You think he's killed other informants? I think he's been running his own criminal enterprise inside the police department for years, and anyone who discovered it ended up in the Chicago River. I pull up another file. Cold cases from the past 5 years. 12 unsolved murders, all potential informants or witnesses in corruption investigations, all killed with similar overkill patterns. All cases went cold within weeks. Dante's jaw tightens. So Harrow's been cleaning house, and nobody noticed? Someone noticed. Elena noticed. That's why she's dead. I switched to surveillance footage from Elena's apartment building on November 28th, the night of her murder. And this is why my wife is in custody. The footage shows a woman who looks remarkably like Era arriving at Elena's building at 1:47 a.m. Same height, same build, same silver Honda Accord that matches Era's registration. The woman wears dark clothing and keeps her face angled away from cameras. Professional. Calculated. That's not Era, Dante observes. Movements all wrong. Your wife walks softer, favors her left side because of the pregnancy. This woman moves like she's trained. Agreed. Watch what happens next. I fast forward to 3:12 a.m. The same woman exits, carrying a black bag, still avoiding camera angles. She gets into the Honda and drives away. 23 minutes later, tactical teams raid my house and arrest my wife. They had everything staged. The car, the clothes, someone who looks enough like her to pass on grainy surveillance. Dante scrolls through evidence reports. But how'd they get her fingerprints on the murder weapon? Her DNA under the victim's nails? That level of forensic planting requires FBI resources. I finish. Harrow couldn't do this alone. He needed someone with access to federal labs. Someone who could fabricate evidence that would survive scrutiny. I pull up another file. FBI agent Marcus Delane, 15-year veteran of the Chicago field office, specialized in organized crime, and someone who's been pressuring me for 3 years to become a federal informant. Delane approached me in 2022, I explain. Wanted me to feed him information about rival operations, testify. In federal cases, dismantle my own organization from the inside. I refused. Told him I'd burn his entire field office down before I became a rat. So this is revenge. You wouldn't cooperate, and they decided to destroy you by framing your wife. Dante pulls up Delane's communications. He's been in contact with Harrow weekly for 6 months. Encrypted messages, burner phones, all the hallmarks of conspiracy. They thought I'd fold when they threatened Era. Thought I'd trade my empire for her freedom. I lean back, the rage inside me carefully controlled, precisely channeled. They miscalculated. I'm not trading anything, I'm taking it all back. My wife, my reputation, my city, and they're going to pay in blood for every tear she's cried. Dante hesitates. Boss, if we move against FBI, then we move carefully. I pull up the final piece of evidence, a video file recovered from Elena Rossetti's deleted cloud storage. But first, we make sure everyone knows who the real monsters are. I press play. The footage is dark, shaky, filmed on a cell phone from Elena's apartment. The timestamp reads November 28th, 2:03 a.m. Elena's voice comes through first, terrified and desperate. Please, Captain Harrow, I won't tell anyone about the money. I swear. Harrow's face appears on camera. Calm, almost bored. You called internal affairs, Elena. You made this necessary. I'll recant. I'll say I made it up. Too late for that. Harrow pulls out a knife, long blade, serrated edge. The same knife that will later have Era's fingerprints on it. You were a good informant, reliable, but you got greedy. Started asking questions you shouldn't have asked. What follows is unwatchable. I force myself to watch anyway. Every second, every cut, every moment of Elena's suffering. Because this is what they tried to blame on my wife. This is what they wanted the world to believe Era was capable of. When it's over, when Elena finally stops moving, stops breathing, Harrow wipes the blade. clean and speaks directly into the camera Elena left recording, hidden on her bookshelf. If anyone finds this, know that I had no choice. She was going to expose years of work, millions of dollars in operations. I did what was necessary to protect what's mine. He leaves. The camera keeps recording for another hour, just Elena's body in silence, before the battery dies. He didn't know she was recording. Dante breathes. He confessed to everything. And now we have proof. I copy the file to 3 separate encrypted drives. This video destroys Harrow, implicates Delane, and exonerates Era. But we can't release it yet. Not until she's safe. Why not? Send it to every news station in Chicago. Clear her name now. Because the moment this goes public, Harrow knows he's finished. He'll either run or decide to take everyone down with him. Starting with Era. She's his last leverage. As long as she's in custody, he thinks he's protected. The second he knows we have this video, she becomes disposable. I stand, pocketing the drives. So we move in stages. First, we eliminate Harrow's support structure. His crew, his dirty cops, everyone who's protecting him. We do it quietly, systematically, until he's completely isolated. Then, we extract Era during the hospital transfer. Once she's safe, we release everything, the video, the financial records, the phone logs. We destroy him so completely he can't hurt anyone ever again. That's a lot of moving parts, boss. What if something goes wrong? Then Chicago burns and I rebuild from the ashes. I check my watch. 7:47 p.m. Era's been in custody for 16 hours. Contact our people at Northwestern Memorial. Make sure they're ready for her arrival. I want doctors I trust, security I control, and every exit route mapped. When that ambulance pulls up, we own that hospital. And if the FBI intervenes? They won't. I pull up Delane's current location. His apartment in Lincoln Park, alone, arrogant enough to think he's untouchable. Because Agent Delane is about to have a very bad night. One that ends with him confessing everything on camera. Just like Elena recorded Harrow. Dante grins. Doc. Vicious. You want me to grab him? No. I'm handling Delane personally. I gather my coat, my gloves, the tools I'll need for this particular kind of persuasion. You focus on Harrow's safe house in Bridgeport. He's got 8 men there, the crew that's been handling his street-level operations. I want them eliminated before midnight. Make it look like a rival gang hit. Nothing that traces back to us. Consider it done. We move simultaneously. Dante and his team heading south to Bridgeport, me driving north to Lincoln Park. The city stretches out before me, lights glittering in the November darkness. Chicago, my city. The place I built an empire through ruthlessness and precision. And now these men, these corrupt cops and federal agents, thought they could take it from me by threatening my family. They forgot the first rule of dealing with monsters: never back them into a corner with nothing left to lose. I reached Delane's building at 8:34 p.m. Luxury high-rise, doorman, security cameras everywhere. But security cameras aren't a problem when you own the company that monitors them. One text to my contact, and every camera in this building goes into a 30-minute loop showing empty hallways. The doorman recognizes me. Smart man. He waves me through without questions, pretends he never saw me at all. Survival instinct. Delane's apartment is on the 14th floor. I take the stairs, quieter, harder to track. The hallway is empty, silent except for muffled television sounds behind closed doors. His lock is expensive but not FBI grade. I'm inside within 40 seconds. The apartment is exactly what I expected. Modern furniture, expensive art that shows, more wealth than taste, a wall of commendations and photos with politicians. Agent Marcus Delane, pillar of the community, hero of law enforcement. I wait in his living room, lights off, patient as death. He comes home at 9:07 p.m., whistling, carrying takeout and a bottle of wine, planning a pleasant evening while my pregnant wife bleeds in a prison medical ward. I let him get 3 steps inside before I speak. Hello, Marcus? He drops everything. The bag splits open, pasta sauce spreading across his hardwood floors like blood. His hand goes for the gun at his hip. But I'm faster. Always faster. I have his wrist pinned, his face pressed against the wall, his service. weapon clattering across the floor before he can draw breath to scream. We need to talk, I say quietly, about Elena Rossetti, about Captain Harrow, about the mistake you made framing my wife, Valdez. He tries to struggle. I break 2 fingers. He screams. Wrong answer. Let's try again. I pull out my phone, start recording. Tell me everything. Every detail of how you and Harrow conspired to murder Elena and frame Era. Leave nothing out, because every lie costs you another finger, and you're going to need at least 1 hand to sign your confession. What follows takes 3 hours. By the end, Delane has given me everything. Dates, locations, methods, the names of every cop and agent involved in the conspiracy. He sobs through his confession, begging for mercy he doesn't deserve. I don't give it to him. But I don't kill him either. He's more useful alive, a federal agent confessing to corruption and murder conspiracy. The kind of witness that brings down entire departments. I leave him zip-tied in his bathtub, confession recorded and backed up to multiple servers. By morning, my lawyers will deliver copies to the U.S. Attorney, the Chicago Tribune, and every major news network in the region. But first, I have to save my wife. My phone rings as I exit Delane's building. Dante. Safe house is clear, he reports. All 8 targets eliminated. Made it look like the Latin Kings hit them over territory dispute. No connection to you? Good. What about Northwestern? Your people are in place. Hospital security is ours. When Era arrives, we control everything. And Harrow? Still at the precinct. He knows something's wrong. Half his crew isn't answering calls. But he doesn't know how wrong yet. I check the time. 12:41 a.m. Era's been in custody for 21 hours. The hospital transfer should happen within the next few hours, once prison medical clears her for transport. Positions everyone at Northwestern, I order. The moment that ambulance is en route, I want updates every 30 seconds. No surprises, no risks. We get 1 chance at this. Understood, boss. And after? When Era's safe? I look out at Chicago sprawling before me, the city that took everything from me when they touched my family. After, we release everything. The videos, the confessions, the evidence. We burn Harrow's world to ashes and watch him try to survive the flames. He might run. Let him try. There's nowhere on earth I won't find him. Nowhere he'll be safe from what's coming. I drive toward Northwestern Memorial, positioning myself for the extraction. Somewhere in the city, Era is being loaded into an ambulance, terrified and bleeding, praying I'll keep my promise. I will. God help anyone who gets in my way. Severin has the evidence to destroy Harrow and the FBI agent who framed Era. But will he reach her in time? Comment if you think she'll survive the hospital transfer. Part 4 drops next. Subscribe so you don't miss the moment everything explodes. I wake to agony. Not the dull ache I've been living with for hours. This is sharp, immediate, splitting me open from the inside. Contractions, real ones. At 22 weeks, 5 days. It's 3:47 a.m. according to the clock on the medical room wall. Exactly 24 hours since they dragged me from my bed. My body has reached its breaking point. Help? I gasp, but my voice is too weak. The nurse station is empty. Probably dealing with another emergency in this hellish facility. I'm alone in the dim medical room, handcuffed to a gurney, bleeding through the thin sheet beneath me. Another contraction hits. I scream. This time, someone hears. A guard appears in the doorway, young, barely out of training by the look of him. He sees the blood and goes pale. Oh God, I'll get... Don't leave me. I sob. Please. My baby... But he's already running, shouting for medical staff. I'm alone again. My body betraying me, my daughter dying before she ever gets a chance to live. The contractions come faster now. Closer together. My water breaks, or maybe it's just more blood. I can't tell anymore. Everything is pain and terror and the absolute certainty that I'm losing her. Finally, staff arrive. The same apathetic doctor from before, now annoyed at being woken at this hour. 2 nurses, who actually look concerned. They unchain me from the gurney, transfer me to a wheelchair, and rush me through corridors while I scream with each contraction. She's fully effaced, one nurse says after a quick examination, dilating fast. We need to get her to a real hospital now. Transport will take 40 minutes minimum, the doctor argues. She could deliver here. At 23 weeks, in a prison medical facility with no NICU, no pediatric specialists, no equipment to save a baby this premature? The nurse, the same one who gave me the phone, faces him down with fury. You want to explain to a judge why you let a prisoner's baby die when we had time to transfer? The doctor caves. Fine. Call for ambulance transport, armed escort, full restraints. She's in active labor, and she's a murder suspect. Protocol is protocol. They argue while I suffer through another contraction that feels like it's tearing me apart. My daughter is coming too early. Way too early. Babies born at 23 weeks have maybe a 30% survival rate, and that's with the best medical care available. If they keep me shackled, if they delay even a few more minutes. The nurse leans close while the doctor makes his calls. Your husband knows. He's waiting at Northwestern. Just hold on. Hope and despair war inside me. Severin is coming. But will he make it in time? The ambulance arrives at 4:23 a.m. They transfer me onto a stretcher, and despite my protests, despite my screaming, they chain me. Wrists cuffed to the stretcher rails, an ankle monitor locked around my left leg. Like I could run while giving birth, like I'm a threat to anyone. 2 corrections officers climb into the ambulance with me, both armed, both eyeing me with suspicion and disgust. The nurse from the prison medical facility fights to come along, but they refuse. Hospital will have medical staff, the senior officer says. We don't need civilians complicating security, so I'm alone with my gods and a paramedic who looks terrified of the whole situation. We pull out of Cook County Jail at 4:31 a.m. Northwestern Memorial is 8 miles away. In normal traffic, 15 minutes. At this hour, maybe 10. I have to hold on for 10 more minutes. The contractions don't stop. They're coming every 2 minutes now. Relentless, agonizing waves that steal my breath and blur my vision. The paramedic monitors my vitals, the baby's heartbeat, but I can see the worry on his face. Heart rate is dropping, he says quietly into his radio. Fetal distress. We need to move faster. The ambulance speeds up, siren wailing through empty Chicago streets. Through the window, I see the city passing by, the same streets Severin and I drove. On our first date, the same neighborhoods where we built our life together, now transformed into a nightmare landscape where I might lose everything. We're 5 blocks from Northwestern when everything goes wrong. The ambulance lurches violently to the left. I scream as the sudden movement jerks against my restraints. The paramedic falls against equipment, cursing. The corrections officers reach for their weapons. Gunfire explodes around us. Bullets punch through the ambulance walls. 1, 2, a dozen in rapid succession. The rear window shatters, spraying glass across my legs. I curl around my belly as much as the restraints allow, protecting my daughter with the only shield I have, my own body. Contact. We're taking fire. The senior officer radios frantically. Officer down. Requesting immediate backup. His head snaps back. Blood sprays across me. Hot, sticky, horrifying. He collapses. The second officer returns fire through the broken window, screaming into his radio between shots. The paramedic covers his head, trapped between seats. And I'm chained to a stretcher in the middle of a battlefield, in active labor, unable to run or hide or do anything but pray. The ambulance screeches to a halt. More gunfire, closer now, deafening. The rear doors fly open. Men in black tactical gear swarm inside. For one terrible second, I think it's Severin's men, that he's come for me. But these aren't his people. I see their faces. Cold, professional, murderous. The patch on one man's vest reads CPD, Chicago Police Department. Harrow sent them. These are his men, here to finish what the frame job started. Target acquired, the leader says into his radio. Preparing for extraction and elimination. Elimination. They're going to kill me and make it look like I died trying to escape. No! I scream. Help! Someone! A hand clamps over my mouth. They cut my restraints, not to free me, but to drag me from the ambulance. My vision swims with pain and terror. Another contraction hits mid-abduction, and I double over, crying out against the hand muffling my screams. They're pulling me toward a black SUV when headlights flood the street. Multiple vehicles. 3, 4, 5 black SUVs screeching to a halt in formation, blocking escape routes. Doors fly open. More armed men emerge. But these men I recognize. Dante, Marco, others from Severin's crew. And finally, stepping out of the lead vehicle with a gun in each hand. Severin. Our eyes meet across the chaos. His face is carved from rage and fear, and something so fierce it burns the air between us. He sees me being dragged toward the SUV by Harrow's men. Sees me bleeding, pregnant, terrified. Let her go, he says. His voice is quiet, deadly. Last warning, Harrow's men hesitate. They're outgunned, outmanned, and facing down Chicago's most dangerous crime. Boss who's just been given a reason to destroy everything in his path. The leader makes the fatal mistake of pressing his gun to my temple. Back off, Valdez, or she dies right here. Severin shoots him. Center mass, perfect aim despite the distance and darkness. The man drops, and I'm falling with him, hitting the pavement hard enough to steal my breath. Then everything explodes into violence. Gunfire erupts from all sides. Severin's men move with precision. Ex-military, trained, lethal. Harrow's crew fights back, but they're sloppy, panicked, outmatched. Bodies fall. Blood pools in the street. Through it all, Severin fights his way toward me. Nothing stops him, not bullets, not obstacles, not the men trying to kill him. He moves like vengeance itself, cutting through enemies with cold efficiency, eyes locked on me the entire time. A bullet grazes my shoulder. The pain is distant, unimportant compared to the contraction ripping through me. I curl into a ball on the cold pavement, hands pressed to my belly, begging my daughter to survive just a little longer. Daddy's coming, I whisper to her. Hold on, baby. Daddy's almost here. Severin reaches me, drops to his knees beside me, hands immediately on my face, my belly, checking for damage. His hands are covered in blood, other people's blood, but his touch is gentle when he cradles my face. I've got you, he says, and his voice breaks on the words. I've got both of you. They shot me. I gasp. The baby? Severin, she's coming. It's too early. I know. We're 30 seconds from Northwestern. He lifts me, so carefully like I'm made of glass, and carries me toward his SUV. Stay with me, Aira. Stay awake. But the blood loss and stress and pain are too much. My vision tunnels. I hear Severin shouting at Dante to drive faster. Feel the vehicle speeding through streets. Sense his arms holding me like he can keep death away through sheer force of will. The last thing I see before darkness takes me is Severin's face above mine, tears streaming down his cheeks. The first time in 8 years I've ever seen him cry. Don't leave me, he whispers. Please, God, don't let me lose them. Then nothing. The hospital operating room doors close between me and Aira. I stand in the surgical wing hallway, covered in her blood, watching through the small window as doctors swarm around her unconscious body. 23 weeks and 2 days pregnant. Gunshot wound to the shoulder. Premature labor. Hemorrhaging. My daughter is dying before she's even born, and I can't do anything but wait. Boss. Dante appears beside me, equally blood-soaked. Hospital security is locked down. Our people control every floor. No one gets in without our clearance. Harrow's men? 6 dead at the ambush site. 2 escaped. Chicago PD is claiming it was a gang shooting. They're already covering for Harrow. His jaw tightens. But we have a bigger problem. FBI just arrived. They're demanding access to Aira, claiming federal jurisdiction. Of course they are. Delane's confession won't surface for another few hours, and until it does, the FBI thinks they still have control. They don't know I've already destroyed their case from the inside. Stall them, I say. not taking my eyes off the operating room window. A nurse is running with what looks like a neonatal incubator. Too small. God, it's too small for a baby. Tell them she's in emergency surgery and no one, federal or otherwise, gets access until she's stable. And if they push, then they learn why you don't corner a wounded animal. I turn to face him fully. How many men do we have positioned? 42 in the building. Another 30 outside, covering perimeter and escape routes. We could hold this hospital for days if needed. We won't need days, just hours. I check my watch, 5:47 a.m. Harrow knows his ambush failed. Knows I have Era. He's going to move against us, either by coming here with overwhelming force or by destroying the evidence that proves her innocence before we can use it. The evidence at the 18th precinct, Dante realizes, the fabricated forensics, the planted material, Harrow's files connecting him to Elena's murder. If he purges everything, we have no proof. It becomes his word against mine, and my pregnant wife is still a murder suspect. I pull out my phone, open the encrypted files containing Delane's confession and Elena's death video. That's why we're not waiting. We're taking everything Harrow has right now, while he's scrambling to regroup. Dante's eyes widen. You want to raid a police precinct, not raid. Liberate. There's a difference. I pull up building schematics for the 18th precinct that my people acquired weeks ago. Shift change happens at 6 a.m. 13 minutes from now. That's when we hit them. Minimal staff, maximum confusion, before Harrow can lock down evidence or call in reinforcements. Boss, even with shift change, we're talking about assaulting a police station. That's a line we can't uncross. They crossed it first when they framed my wife and tried to murder her in the street. My voice is ice over fire. Every cop who participated in Harrow's conspiracy made themselves a target. Every agent who helped fabricate evidence signed their own death warrant. This isn't about lines anymore, Dante. This is about survival. Era's. Our daughters, mine. He nods slowly. How many men? 20. Best shooters. Full tactical gear, body armor, suppressed weapons. We go in fast, surgical, extract only what we need. Evidence room on the 3rd floor, that's our target. Security footage, forensic reports, physical evidence they planted. We take it all, burn the rest. What about civilian casualties? Staff who aren't involved? We minimize. Anyone who doesn't resist doesn't get hurt. But anyone who stands between me and that evidence room becomes an acceptable loss. I pull up personnel files for the 18th precinct. Faces, names, roles, memorizing targets. Harrow's inner circle is 12 officers plus himself. Most of them will be off duty during shift change. The ones present get one chance to surrender. After that, it's combat. Dante makes calls, assembling the team. I watch the operating room where my wife fights for her life and my daughter clings to existence by a thread. A nurse catches my eye through the window, shakes her head slightly. Not good news. I turn away before the despair consumes me. If I break now, if I let the fear win, I'm useless to them. So I compartmentalize, lock the terror in a box deep inside and become what I need to be, the monster who destroys anyone threatening my family. At 5:58 a.m., I leave Northwestern Memorial Hospital with 20 armed men. We take 5 vehicles, SUVs with tinted windows, no plates, untraceable. The drive to the 18th precinct takes 11 minutes through early morning Chicago traffic. The precinct is a 4-story concrete building on South Racine Avenue. Ugly, institutional, fortress-like by design. But every fortress has weaknesses, and I've mapped all of them. We park 2 blocks away, deploy on foot, approach from multiple angles, front entrance, side doors, service entrance and back. My team moves like ghosts, silent, coordinated, professional, ex-military most of them. Men who've done this type of operation in worse conditions overseas. At exactly 6:09 a.m., we breach. The front entrance team goes in first. Suppressed gunfire taking down the desk sergeant before he can reach the panic button. Dante's team secures the 1st floor, zip-tying any officers who freeze instead of fight. My team heads straight for the stairwell, moving up toward the 3rd floor evidence room. We encounter resistance on the 2nd floor landing. 2 officers in tactical gear, Not regular patrol, something more prepared. Harrow stationed guards. They see us, reach for weapons. My team drops them with double tap efficiency. We step over the bodies and keep moving. Third floor. The evidence room is at the end of the hallway behind a reinforced door with electronic lock and keypad. I've got the override codes, purchased from the security company that installed the system, but before I can use them, the door opens from inside. Detective Morrison stands in the doorway, gun drawn, eyes wild with fear and fury. Valdez. I should have known you'd... I shoot him in the leg. He goes down screaming. We flood past him into the evidence room, rows of shelving units loaded with case files, physical evidence, boxes of materials stretching back years. Find everything related to Elena Rossetti's murder, I order. Evidence logs, forensic reports, chain of custody documentation, anything with my wife's name on it. 5 minutes, my team spreads out, systematically pulling files. I go straight to the digital storage server in the corner, the central database where all case evidence is logged and backed up. I plug in a portable drive, initiate a data extraction protocol my IT specialist designed. Everything on this server, every case, every file, every piece of digital evidence, copies to my drive. Insurance and ammunition, all at once. Morrison drags himself toward the door, leaving a blood trail, still trying to reach his radio. I step on his wrist. Bones crack. He screams again. Where's Harrow? I ask calmly. Go to hell. I press down harder. Wrong answer. Where is Harrow? Safe house. Morrison gasps through the pain. Pilsen neighborhood. Fortified. You'll never... Address. He gives it. Maybe he's lying, maybe not. I'll verify later. Right now, I need what we came for. My team has pulled 18 boxes of evidence. Physical materials, case files, forensic reports. Everything the prosecution would use against Era at trial. We load it onto carts, start wheeling toward the stairwell. Boss. We got company. Dante's voice crackles through my earpiece. Captain Harrow just arrived with 15 officers. Armed. They're surrounding the building? Of course they are. Harrow realized what we were doing and scrambled a response team. But he's too late. We already have what we need. Execute exit protocol 3, I say. North side service entrance. Vehicle extraction in 2 minutes. We move fast. Controlled chaos down the stairwell. Boxes of evidence carried by men who understand the stakes. Second floor, first floor. I can hear shouting from the front of the building, Harrow's voice barking orders. Then I hear something else, a name being screamed over and over. Severin Valdez. This is Captain Vincent Harrow. You're surrounded. Release my officers and surrender immediately, or we're coming in with lethal force. I smile. Cold, vicious. Because Harrow just gave me exactly what I wanted. His voice on every police radio in the district, his name. Attached to this disaster, his authority invoked in defense of a conspiracy he thinks is still secret. He doesn't know I'm already recording everything. Doesn't know that every word out of his mouth is being live-streamed to. Secure servers where my lawyers are compiling prosecutorial evidence. We reach the service entrance. Our vehicles are waiting, engines running. We load the evidence boxes in 40 seconds flat. Trained efficiency that would make any military unit proud. Harrow's men breach the front entrance just as we pull away from the service exit. I watch through the rear window as the precinct erupts into confusion, officers flooding in to find. Their evidence room gutted, their colleagues zip-tied or wounded, and no suspects in sight. We're 3 blocks away when Harrow's voice explodes over the police scanner. All units. Pursuit of multiple suspects fleeing 18th Precinct. Vehicles heading north on... I switch it off. We don't need to hear the rest. We're already dissolving into Chicago traffic, switching vehicles, splitting up to make pursuit impossible. By the time they organize a manhunt, we'll have vanished into the dozens of properties I control throughout the city. At 6:47 a.m., I'm back at Northwestern Memorial Hospital. The evidence boxes are secured in a facility Harrow can never touch. The digital files are backed up to 12 different servers across 3 countries. And I'm walking back into the surgical wing where my wife and daughter are still fighting for their lives. The surgeon meets me outside the operating room. Her scrubs are blood-soaked. Her expression is carefully neutral, the look doctors wear when delivering devastating news. "Mr. Valdez," she begins. "My world stops. Your wife is stable. The gunshot wound was clean, through and through, minimal tissue damage. We've repaired the trauma and stopped the bleeding. She's going to recover fully." Relief crashes through me so powerfully I have to grip the wall to stay standing. "And my daughter?" The surgeon's expression shifts. Grief and wonder mixing together. "We delivered her at 6:23 a.m. 2 pounds, 4 ounces, 13 inches long. She's incredibly premature, Mr. Valdez. The next 72 hours are critical, but..." A small smile breaks through the professional mask. "She's breathing on her own. Fighting. She's in the NICU now, and if she keeps fighting like this, she has a chance. A chance. Not a guarantee. Not safety, but a chance. I want to see them." "Your wife is in recovery. She'll wake in a few hours. Your daughter..." The surgeon hesitates. "NICU protocols normally restrict." "I own this hospital." My voice is flat. Factual. "Either you take me to my daughter right now, or I fire every administrator between here and the NICU and walk there myself." She takes me. The neonatal intensive care unit is a forest of machines and monitors and tiny isolates containing impossibly small babies. The surgeon leads me to an isolate in the corner, surrounded by equipment I don't understand and readouts I can't interpret. And inside, almost invisible among the tubes and wires, is my daughter. She's the smallest thing I've ever seen. Fragile. Translucent skin showing every vein beneath. Eyes fused shut. A breathing tube taped to her face, smaller than my hand, but alive. Her chest rises and falls with mechanical assistance. Her fingers, so tiny I could barely feel them, curl and uncurl reflexively. Can I touch her? My voice breaks on the question. The nurse shows me how to reach through the isolate ports without disturbing the equipment. My hand, so used to violence and destruction, trembles as I extend one finger toward my daughter. She wraps her entire hand around my finger, holds on with strength that shouldn't be possible in something so small. And I break. Tears I've held back for 36 hours finally fall. I stand in the NICU, connected to my daughter by one finger, and sob like I haven't since I was a child myself. All the fear, all the rage, all the terror of nearly losing them. It pours out in ugly, wrenching gasps that I don't bother trying to control. "She's a fighter," the nurse says softly. "Just like her parents." I nod, unable to speak. Unable to look away from the tiny miracle who somehow survived a war before she was born. My phone vibrates. Text from Dante, evidence secured. Delaine's confession released to media. Harrow's trying to flee. What are your orders? I look at my daughter, Sienna Valdez, born too early into too dangerous. A world but alive and fighting. And type my response with my free hand. Find him. Bring him to me. I'll handle the rest. Because this isn't over. Harrow tried to destroy my family, and he's going to pay for every second of suffering he caused. But first, I'm going to stay right here, connected to my daughter, waiting for my wife to wake, protecting the only things in this world that matter. Chicago can burn around us. Let it. As long as they're both alive, I can rebuild anything. Severin has his daughter and the evidence to destroy Harrow. But will the mafia boss's revenge consume him, or will his family pull him back from the edge? Drop a comment with your thoughts. Part 6 is almost here. Subscribe so you don't miss the explosive finale. I wake to beeping machines and antiseptic smell. Hospital. My hand immediately goes to my belly, flatter than it should be, tender, wrapped in bandages. Panic surges through me. The baby, I gasp, trying to sit up. Pain explodes through my shoulder where the bullet grazed me. Where's my... She's alive. Severin's voice. He's beside my bed instantly, his hand covering mine, pressing it gently back to the mattress. Era, she's alive. You both made it. I focus on his face. He looks destroyed. 3 days of stubble, bloodshot eyes, still wearing the same blood-stained clothes from the ambush. But he's here. Real. And he said, She's alive. Where is she? I need to see her. NICU. She's 2 pounds 4 ounces. 23 weeks and 2 days. Too early, but she's breathing, fighting. His voice cracks. She has your eyes, Era. She opened them yesterday for 30 seconds, and they're the same gray as yours. Tears stream down my face. Relief and terror mixing together. I want to see her. I'll take you as soon as the doctors clear you. He brushes hair from my forehead with impossible gentleness for hands that have killed so many. You've been out for 18 hours. Surgery on your shoulder, medications for the labor trauma. They said you need rest. I don't need rest. I need my daughter. I know. He kisses my forehead. She needs you too. She's been waiting for you to wake up. I've been telling her stories about her mother, how brave you are, how strong, how you survived hell to bring her into this world. I grip his hand. Is she going to make it? His expression tightens. Truth and lies warring across his face. He chooses truth. I don't know. The next 70 to 2 hours are critical. She's so small, Era. Her lungs aren't fully developed. They've got her on a ventilator, feeding tube, monitors tracking everything. The doctors say if she makes it past the first week, her chances improve significantly. But he stops. Breathes. There are no guarantees. No guarantees. Just like there were no guarantees I'd survive the ambush, or the labor, or any of the nightmare that's consumed our lives. What about Harrow, Morrison, the FBI? I need to know if we're still in danger. If they're still coming for us? Handled. Severin's face goes cold. Dangerous. Delane's confession went public 6 hours after we got you to the hospital. Every major news network ran it. FBI director had a press conference apologizing for the rogue agent who fabricated evidence. They're launching an internal investigation, but Delane's already finished. He'll spend the rest of his life in federal prison. And Harrow? Dead. No emotion in his voice. Just fact. He tried to run. Made it as far as Indiana before my people found him. Dante handled it personally. Made it look like a single car accident. Lost control on a rural highway, crashed into a ravine, burned. They'll find his body in a few days when someone notices the wreckage. I should feel horror. Should be devastated that my husband orchestrated a man's murder. But all I feel is relief. Harrow tried to destroy us, and now he can't hurt anyone ever again. Morrison? In federal custody, singing like a bird to reduce his sentence? He's given up 32 dirty cops, 4 judges, and 2 state legislators involved in Harrow's network. The entire Southside Police District is being investigated. Severin's smile is sharp. Satisfied. Chicago PD is in chaos. They'll spend years cleaning house. And the charges against me? Dropped. Dismissed with prejudice. The state's attorney personally apologized, on television, for the wrongful arrest and prosecution. Elena Rossetti's real killer is officially identified as Captain Harrow. And the case is closed? He pulls out his phone, shows me headlines. Chicago police captain murdered informant, framed innocent woman. FBI agent confesses to evidence fabrication and corruption scandal. Pregnant woman survives police ambush. Federal investigation launched. My face is on every front page. Not as a murderer, as a victim. It's over, Severin says softly. You're free, safe. No one can touch you now. But I hear what he's not saying. 23 people died to make that happen. How many? I ask. How many people did you kill to save me? He doesn't flinch from the question. Doesn't lie or minimize. Directly? 6. Harrow's men during the ambush. Indirectly? 17 more. Harrow's crew, dirty cops who resisted arrest when federal agents moved in. 1. FBI supervisor who tried to destroy evidence before investigators arrived. His eyes meet mine. Unflinching. Would you prefer I'd let them kill you instead? No. The answer is immediate. Honest. I just need to know what kind of world I'm bringing our daughter into. What kind of man her father is. The kind who will burn cities to protect his family. Severin's voice is steel. The kind who has enemies because I've built something powerful in a city that rewards violence. The kind who will teach our daughter to be strong, ruthless when necessary, and loyal to the people who matter. But also, his hand cups my face. The kind who will love her so completely that she'll never doubt her worth. Who will read her stories and teach her to defend herself, and show her that family is the only thing worth dying for. I close my eyes. This is who I married. Not the charming art collector who courted me in Boston galleries. Not the successful businessman with legitimate enterprises and political connections. The real Severin Valdez. Mafia boss, killer, protector, the monster and the man. I want to see her, I say. Our daughter. Before I decide anything else, I need to see her. He helps me into a wheelchair. I'm too weak to walk, shoulder still healing, body recovering from trauma. We navigate through hallways to the NICU. Severin has to talk us past security protocols, but doors open for him. They always do. The NICU is dimmer than the rest of the hospital. Quieter. Rows of isolettes containing tiny babies fighting for life. Severin wheels me to an isolette in the corner, surrounded by machines and monitors. And there she is, our daughter. Impossibly small. So fragile she looks like she might dissolve if I breathe too hard. Tubes and wires everywhere. Breathing tube, feeding tube, 4 lines, heart monitor leads. Her skin is translucent, showing veins beneath. Her chest rises and falls with mechanical precision. She's wearing a diaper the size of my palm and nothing else because she's too small for even premature infant clothes. But she's beautiful. Perfect. Ours. Can I touch her? My voice breaks. The NICU nurse shows me how to reach through the isolette ports. My hand shakes as I extend one finger toward my daughter's palm. She grips it, holds on with surprising strength for something so tiny. And I fall in love so completely it physically hurts. Sienna, I whisper. Your daddy's been calling you Sienna. Is that okay? Do you like that name? She doesn't respond. She's too young, too underdeveloped for awareness. But I imagine she tightens her grip slightly. Sienna Valdez, I say, testing it. The name of a fighter, a survivor. You're so strong, baby girl. You made it. You survived everything. The arrest, the ambush, being born too early. You're the strongest person I know. Severin's hand rests on my shoulder, the one that wasn't shot. His other hand reaches into the isolette, finger touching our daughter's foot. She's so small, his finger spans the entire length of her leg. She's going to make it, he says with absolute certainty. She's ours. Valdez blood. We don't quit. I want to believe him. Want to trust that sheer willpower can keep our daughter alive. But I've seen too much death in the past 72 hours, know too intimately how fragile life is. And if she doesn't? I force myself to ask. If we lose her despite everything, can you come back from that? From all the people you killed, all the destruction you caused? If she dies anyway? Severin is silent for a long moment. Then, no. If I lose her, I don't come back. I burn the rest of the way down and take half of Chicago with me. That's who I am, Era. That's the man you married. He turns me in the wheelchair to face him. But she's not going to die. And neither are you. And we're going to raise her in this complicated, violent, beautiful life we've built together. If you can accept that, can I? Can I stay with a man who orchestrates murders and dismantles police departments? Can I raise my daughter surrounded by bodyguards and violence and constant danger? I look at Sienna, our tiny miracle, hooked to machines, fighting for every breath. Born into a war she didn't choose, survivor of attempted murder before she even entered the world. Yes, I say. I accept it. All of it. Because leaving you means leaving her without both parents, and she deserves better than that. I grip his hand. But you need to understand, I'm not that naive woman who looked the other way anymore. I see who you are now, what you're capable of. And if you ever lie to me, again, if you ever make decisions about our family without me, we're done. I'll take Sienna somewhere you'll never find us, and I'll make sure she knows exactly why. He nods slowly. Fair terms. And one more thing. I turn back to our daughter. No more wars unless absolutely necessary. I won't let Sienna grow up like this, surrounded by enemies, watching her father destroy people. You want her to respect you? Be someone worth respecting. Build something that doesn't require bodies in the river. Era, I'm serious, Severin. You've built an empire on violence. Now build one on something better. For her, I touch Sienna's hand through the isolette. She deserves a father who's more than just a monster. He's quiet for a long time, watching our daughter breathe, considering what I'm asking, what I'm demanding. Finally, I'll try. For both of you, I'll try to be better. It's not a promise, not a guarantee, but it's something. And right now, with our daughter fighting for life and Chicago burning around us, something is enough. 3 weeks later, Sienna weighs 3 pounds, 2 ounces. She's breathing on her own for short periods. The doctors say she's exceeding all expectations, a fighter, just like they predicted. I spend 12 hours a day in the NICU, doing kangaroo care, talking to her, singing lullabies my mother sang to me. Severin visits every morning and evening, conducting his business from the hospital. Cafeteria, reorganizing his empire around his daughter's feeding schedule. He's kept his word. No new wars. No new bodies. He's even meeting with city officials about legitimate urban development projects. Construction without corpses, as I put it. He hasn't transformed into a saint, but he's trying. The federal investigations continue. 38 officers have been arrested. The entire South Side Police District has been restructured. Chicago PD will spend years recovering from the corruption Harrow enabled. And we've been left alone. No charges, no harassment, no revenge attempts. Because everyone who matters knows you don't come for the Valdez family. The cost is too high. On a Tuesday morning in late December, the NICU doctor approaches with news. She's stable enough for discharge, she says, smiling. 4 pounds, 1 ounce, breathing independently, feeding well. It's time to take Sienna home. Home. The word feels impossible. We're actually going to take our daughter home. Severin arrives within 20 minutes, carrying a car seat designed for premature infants. The nurses help us bundle Sienna, she's still so small, drowning in newborn clothes, and strap her into the seat. She's awake, eyes open, looking around with what might be curiosity or might be confusion at this bright, loud world. Ready? Severin asks, one hand on the car seat handle, the other holding mine. Yes. I grip his hand tighter. Let's take our daughter home. We walk out of Northwestern Memorial Hospital together, a family forged in violence and blood, held together by love and sheer stubborn refusal to be destroyed. Chicago spreads out before us, the city that tried to kill us, the city we survived. And as we drive through familiar streets toward home, I notice something. A black sedan following 3 cars back. Professional distance. Protective surveillance. Severin? I gesture toward the tail. He glances in the rearview mirror. My men. They'll be with us for a while, until I'm certain the threat is completely neutralized. You think there's still danger? There's always danger, Era. That's the world we live in. He reaches back to adjust Sienna's car seat, making sure she's secure. But I'm not taking chances. Not with you two. I look at our daughter, sleeping peacefully in her car seat, oblivious to the complicated life she's inherited. And I realize this is our normal now. Bodyguards and surveillance. Constant vigilance. Living with the knowledge that enemies might emerge from anywhere. But also love fierce enough to burn cities. A man who will literally destroy anything that threatens his family. And a daughter who survived against impossible odds. Okay, I say softly, we'll do it your way. For now, through the rearview mirror, I catch Severin's smile. For now is all I'm asking. We drive toward home, toward whatever future we can build from the ashes of the past 3 weeks. It won't be safe. It won't be simple, but it will be ours. And for the Valdez family, that's enough. If this story resonated with you, then hit that subscribe button right now. And do me a favor, drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from, because tomorrow, I'm bringing you another story that's just as wild, just as unbelievable as this one. Trust me, you won't want to miss it.